I will tell you, the last time I went on a cruise, and when I got home after 7 days, I weighed 9 pounds more. 9 pounds. All right. So you're going on vacation and you haven't quite decided whether or not you're going to take your GLP-1 medications with you, right? I'd like to chat about that with you for just a minute. Hopefully, I'll answer all your questions so that you can finally make that decision. If you're new here, my name is Carrie, and I am a 54-year-old nurse practitioner, and I've lost over 50 pounds taking compounded Tirzepatide, and I've lost over 110 pounds from my highest weight. And this is NP on a GLP. Just a quick disclaimer, none of this should be taken for medical advice, and you should contact your medical provider for any changes that you want to make to your plan. All right, so let's talk about this. You're going on vacation and you're on a GLP-1 medication. That could be Ozempic, Wegovy, Semaglutide, Mounjaro, Tirzepatide, Zepbound, that's the one I missed. Or even any of the new ones that are coming out this year, like retatrutide or forglipron. Ugh, that's a mouthful. Cagrosema is probably going to come out soon. There are a bunch of them on the market. Whichever one you're taking, you haven't quite decided whether or not you really want to take it when you go on vacation, right? Okay. So it's absolutely true that you should not just take advice from random women on the internet. Absolutely. I'm not your healthcare provider and I'm not your mother, but I am both a healthcare provider as well as a patient who takes these medications and has taken them successfully and actually has hit my goal weight. So I'd just like to consider a few things, all right? So the first thing I'd like you to consider is the fact that these medications treat a disease. This medication, you take it to treat your disease of obesity. You're not taking it because of vanity. You're not taking it for cosmetic reasons, just because you want to look better. Although that may be a big reason that you're actually taking it. I'll agree. That's part of why I'm taking it, is I want to look better. I want to feel better. But really what it comes down to is these medications treat the disease of obesity. And if you stop taking your medication that treats your disease of obesity, your symptoms of obesity come back. Now, let's be honest. If this was any medication other than a weight loss medication, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Part of the problem is that we think of it as a weight loss medication, and therefore we think that this is about vanity and how we look. It's not. This is about the metabolic disease of obesity that you and I suffer, right? If this was a blood pressure medication, you would be going, well, I'm going on vacation. Should I take my blood pressure meds? I don't know. Or thyroid. If this is your thyroid medication, you wouldn't have this conversation. You wouldn't be having these thoughts. If it was a cardiac medication, if it was an antibiotic, if it was any other medication at all that was prescribed by your healthcare provider, you would not even be having these thoughts. So why are we having these thoughts around this medication? And again, it's because we think of it as a vanity drug, and it is not. It is actually treating the disease of obesity. So if you stop taking a medication, your symptoms of that disease of obesity will come back. They may not come back in full force depending on how long you're off the medication, but they're going to start to come back. And is that really what you want? Do you want your disease not treated for the time that you're on vacation? I would argue that's just not the best plan, right? Okay, so I think there are a couple reasons that I hear people saying that they're thinking about not taking their medication when they go on vacation. And one of those is side effects. And really, if your side effects are so bad that you can't enjoy life or have a good time or enjoy a good meal, then maybe, just maybe, you should have a chat with your doctor about whether or not your dose is correct for you or whether or not you're even on the correct medication for you. If your side effects are so bad normally that you can't enjoy life, then I would highly recommend you talk to your doctor about maybe adjusting your medication, changing doses in a slower fashion, maybe changing to a medication that you react to a little bit differently. But if we're just talking about the typical side effects that most people have, a little bit of constipation, some occasional nausea, maybe a mild headache here and there, then really there's no reason you can't deal with those on vacation just the same as you can at home. And I'll tell you personally, that's what I do. I take my medication when I'm at home. I take it when I'm on vacation, and I deal with the side effects exactly the same in both situations. And it's not a big deal. I'm still able to enjoy my vacation, just like I'm still able to enjoy my life, right? Okay. So again, if your side effects are so severe that it impacts your ability to enjoy life in general, and therefore it's going to impact your ability to enjoy a vacation, I highly recommend that you have a chat with your prescribing provider about that and see if you can come up with a plan to make it so that you can still meet your goals and treat your disease of obesity, but be able to enjoy life, because you shouldn't be living that way, frankly, in my opinion. Okay. So another thing I hear from people, and I'll tell you, I get these questions every single day. Another thing that I hear from people is they want to be able to eat more when they're on vacation, especially if they're going someplace that's all-inclusive, like on a cruise or to an all-inclusive resort. They want to be able to eat more. Okay. Do you really, really do you want to be able to eat more? Frankly, you spent your whole life being able to eat more, and where did it get you? I know where it got me. It got me up to 265 pounds at one point. I don't like being there. So yes, holding back on your medication may make it so that you can eat more on the trip. And what's that gonna result to you? You're gonna come home and you're gonna weigh more. You're gonna put on fat. So with the disease of obesity, the inappropriate appetite and the appetite for things that are not good for you, those are symptoms of the disease. And you can decide not to treat your disease and let those symptoms come back so that you can eat more. But then you're going to have to live with the consequences of having those symptoms come back and having eaten more. And you're going to come off vacation most likely weighing more than when you left. And it won't all just be water weight. There'll be some water weight, but it won't all be water weight. I will tell you, the last time I went on a cruise before being on Tirzepatide, I went on a 7-day cruise. And when I got home, after 7 days, I weighed 9 pounds more. 9 pounds. And I'm going to be honest with you, I never got back down to that 9 pounds that I weighed before, 9 pounds less that I weighed before the cruise, until after I started Tirzepatide, which was over a year later. So it was an uphill battle for me to try to take off that weight. And it wasn't all water. It was definitely some fat. I ate exactly what I wanted to. I had a great time on that cruise. And I wish I had the Tirzepatide then. I wish I had the control of my appetite so that I didn't want to eat that much. So do you really, really want to be able to eat everything that your body tells you it wants to when you're not treating that symptom of your disease of obesity? Do you really want to come back home 5 pounds heavier, 10 pounds heavier, and have to take it off again? How many times have you taken off that 5 or 10 pounds? Do you really want to have to do it again when you have a medication to treat these symptoms so that you don't have to? My opinion, I would rather not have to lose that weight again. I've done it enough times. I don't want to go there. My recommendation is you don't either. But if what you really want is to be able to eat everything, if that's really what you want, then obviously it's your choice, right? One other aspect while I'm just came to mind, deciding that you want to be able to eat more and eat more junk, delicious food that tastes good and feels good on our brains, right? Deciding that you don't want to take your medication that treats the appetite, which is a symptom of your disease. It's really no different than a drug addict deciding that he doesn't want to take his medication that treats the addiction so that he can go out and use drugs for a week while on vacation. It's really the exact same choice that you're looking at. Choosing not to take your medication that controls the symptom of the appetite is no different than a drug addict who wants to go off his medications that help him stay clean and go use drugs for a week. It's really, it's the same thing. And honestly, the sugar is a drug, and chances are you're addicted to it just like I am, and frankly, just like most of us are. And this medication helps us control that addiction. Do you really want to relapse in your addiction? That's what you're talking about when you decide that you're not going to take your medication. Okay. So that's my opinion on whether or not you should even take your medication. I take my Tirzepatide when I go on vacation, no matter where I go, whether I'm flying or driving, or getting on a boat, or taking a train. I haven't taken another train. Regardless of how I'm traveling, I always take my medication with me, and I just deal with those minor side effects the same as I do at home. And when I get home, I don't weigh more. I went on a cruise about 3 months ago with my husband, 7-day cruise. And for the first time in my life, I came back from vacation not weighing more than when I left. Actually, about a week after the cruise, I was down by about a pound from beforehand. And that was an amazing, amazing feeling. It was wonderful. It was like almost like a miracle. And I wouldn't give that up. Absolutely not. Not for the ability to eat more than I need to and then have to lose the weight afterwards. It's not worth it to me. Maybe it's not worth it to you too. Anyway. All right. So let's actually talk about traveling with this stuff. Because I do get a lot of questions about how do you travel with this medication. First off, if you're flying, you can take your medication through TSA, and you do not need a prescription to do it. You don't have to take a prescription with you. I do recommend that you put your medication into your carry-on, so that if if your checked luggage gets lost, that you're not missing your medications. You should always put anything really valuable to you in your carry-on medication. You can take it straight through TSA. They don't care. They're used to seeing diabetics take insulin all the time. It's not a problem. All right. So it is a refrigerated medication. However, both of these medications can be left at room temperature for some time. So Tirzepatide, which is also Zepbound, and Mounjaro, those are perfectly good to stay at room temperature for up to 21 days. That's 3 weeks for Zepbound, Mounjaro, and Tirzepatide. So that's up to room temperature, and room temperature is 86 degrees. So you don't want it to get above 86 degrees, and you don't want to expose it to sunlight. But under 86 degrees for Tirzepatide, Zepbound, Mounjaro, 21 days. Semaglutide lasts a little bit longer under the same conditions. You're good for 28 days, 4 weeks with Semaglutide, which is Semaglutide, Ozempic, and Wegovy. So room temperature up to 86 degrees. It's perfectly good for up to 4 weeks. Again, keep it out of the sunlight. If you happen to be taking Trulicity, that's a little bit different. We're looking at 2 weeks for Trulicity, but I think most of us are on those other medications. So if you're going for that long, you don't even have to refrigerate it, but you can if you want to. And if you're going longer than that, you do want to refrigerate it. And traveling with refrigerated meds, it's really easy. Insulin users do it all the time. It's really easy to pick up a travel case. This is mine. I bought it off of Amazon. This is not sponsored. This is just what I use. And so this is an insulated pack specifically for medications, for refrigerated medications. It's got two zipper pockets here. It's got pockets. You can see I've got some of my alcohol wipes in here. It's got slots to put pens in. You can also store needles in here. You can put your vials in here if that's what you're taking. And they're insulated, but they also come with a cold pack. Cold pack, you just throw it in the freezer, wait till it's frozen, shove it in here. And I found that this works. This stays nice and cold for 16 hours-ish in my experience. So you got plenty of time when you're traveling to keep your medications cold like this until you can get to a refrigerator, right? So that's easy. I buy this on Amazon. They have several different ones. They even have ones that have like that have a thermometer on the front, a digital readout that will tell you what the temperature is inside, so that you know that your temperature is still good in here. So I'm not that fancy. I'm also cheap, so I bought one of the least expensive ones I can find, right? And it's perfectly fine to take this in your carry-on luggage. Even the needles. TSA doesn't care about their needles either. You don't. Okay. And then needle disposal when you're away from home can be a question as well. And there are really two easy solutions to this. You can buy, and I don't have one, but you can buy, like on Amazon and other places, a small little travel sharps container that you can throw the whole pen in, or you can throw the needles in. You can take it in your luggage or in your carry-on. Again, TSA does not care. And then dispose of it the same way that you would your regular, whatever you do with your regular sharps at home. If you happen to be going on a cruise, the cruise line will supply you a sharps container in your room. But I use something different. This is how I dispose of my needles, both at home and while I'm traveling. It's tiny and it's inexpensive, and it's a needle clip. This actually just cuts the needle off of the syringe. The needle stays inside of here forever. And then I can just throw the rest of the syringe away. And this is so easy to use, so easy to store. And this thing will hold like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of needles in here. I don't remember how many, like 500 needles or something like that. And it's really easy to use. So this particular one is very inexpensive. And again, I got it off of Amazon. Very inexpensive. There's this little button here, slide back. And I don't know if you can see, the clipper actually pops up. And there's a hole in the end that you put the needle in. And then when you press down here, it clips the needle off. Really easy. In fact, I'll show you here. I got a needle right here. Right. So here's a needle. I don't know if you can see this. Move it closer to the camera. I don't know if you can see I got a needle there. So I just open this up and I stick the needle right into the little hole. Needle goes in the hole. I press down right here. And you can hear it clip the needle off. And then this no longer has a needle. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that there? I don't know. This is now safe to just throw away. I usually put the cap back on it, even though it doesn't matter. Then toss it in the garbage. Voila. Quick and easy. And then, like I said, this holds hundreds of needles. Makes the syringes so you can just throw them away. And it's quick and really easy. All right. So that's how I travel with my medications when I go on vacation, or when I go away from home or visit family or whatever. So again, I'm not your healthcare provider. I'm not your mother. You certainly don't have to listen to me. That's how I think about it. And I hope that helps you make a decision about what you want to do on your upcoming vacation. All right. So I would love to hear from you. I'd like to hear about where you're going and whether or not you took your medication. So leave me a comment down below and tell me where you're going and whether or not you're going to take your medication. All right. Also, I do have a couple of videos that I made about taking my GLP-1 on the cruise that I went on just about 2 months ago. And if you're interested in that, go ahead and watch. But I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel, NP on a GLP, so that you can get more videos about GLP-1 lifestyle from a nurse practitioner who's right there with you. All right, guys, have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.